What are your 3 top goals in the next 2 years?
With respect to the city or personally?
Yeah, city. No. We're talking about the city right now. You can tell me both. That's fine.
Well, with respect to the city, I think that we've got to stay as fiscally responsible as we can. We are just now beginning to understand the challenges that we're going to face based on these tough economic times and its impact.
What are some of those? Its
impact on our future budget. We just, a lot of citizens don't know this, right, Diane? We just passed a budget, and we counted on $2.5 million in state shared revenue from the state. The state had to go back in at the Board of Public Works, and it's made several cuts. Overall, the state's cut over $750 million out of its budget since passing it. So that's a current cut to a budget we already passed. We'll absorb it, and we are fiscally sound, but nonetheless, that's something that we're going to, or will be a goal, is making sure that we are fiscally responsible moving forward.
What are your thoughts, Diane?
Well, we all want to be fiscally responsible. I mean, first of all, I guess I'm frugal, cheap. I squeeze the nickel, you know what happens to the buffalo.
Yes,
but I do want us to continue offering the balanced budgets while we're still giving the level of services our citizens have come to rely on. I'd like to see us complete the staffing of the police department.
Oh, yes, yes.
And however we can help the fire department, I'd like to be able to do that. We need to be careful on our redevelopment of our old projects, you know, the old shopping centers and things. That's the development that's coming along now more than new development. It'd be redevelopment, and we really need to revitalize some of these dying places, and so I'd like to see that happen.
And I have two, when you ask kind of what kind of some of the goals are, and we both agree, fiscal responsibility and public safety certainly is another one. In terms of what we can do as a council is be an advocate at the county and state to help draw down what we think is our share. You know, the county is going to be facing a tough time, so we need to be as cooperative and supportive so that Prince George's County can be at the best that it can be, and we need to also be firm in what we think is something that is due based on our position in being a good partner with the county. I have 2 small projects.
What are they?
One is I've asked them to put together a group at the city level that's looking at the siren system. And public safety and emergency preparedness, each time the emergency preparedness report comes before us, I've always been very critical of making sure that it meets our local needs and isn't just kind of an adopted national model. The adopted. So based on some language that I had during the budget session, and one of the priorities we'll be looking at what would it take to take the existing infrastructure we already have set up in the sirens, to reactivate it or to add new ones, and what kind of emergency preparedness or federal money is out there, and is it a good thing to do? You know, we have a lot of ways to alert citizens right now through email and through telephone calls. I still would like to believe that it's a 100-year flood, but if it were to occur, that we are prepared to activate our citizens. So it's a project that I'm looking at, trying to bring the information forward.
Okay, so that's one. What were the other ones?
The second one is working with the police chief, again, to emphasize a little bit more the safety of our children. And we have raised this before. We have sex offenders that live in our community. I think
of course we do. I have one right down the street from me.
Yeah, I think every community looks at this and decides how they'll deal with it. And I would like to see us be as aggressive as we are with the web page and with publishing the information and making sure that parents know how to avail themselves of finding the information, making our links a little bit more accessible straight up on our web page, maybe even having a document when you come in City Hall that you can pick up, because you know a lot of us get busy and often I'll forget. Have I checked, have I looked, or have I been as vigilant as I can to understand where there are vulnerabilities in the community? And I think that we can add a little bit more focus there.
You know, if you put in your zip code, if you type in sexual offense and put in your zip code, it'll bring up the map and have the little pin marks of where they all are.
And you know, I have a question. Some communities have put up billboards.
Really?
Just reminding parents that there is a web page that you can pull up immediately.
I thought maybe
they put up the names and list the neighborhoods.
So they think put the names out and they can't be sued?
Now, and it's controversial, but I'm just suggesting that somewhere, I'm suggesting that somewhere between that and somewhere between what we're doing now, it's a difficult link to find. And we just, it's something we can offer parents. And door knocking, I was most recently reminded by a family of the importance of that and took it to heart, and I think that that's something I'd really like to work on.
One more.
And that I would work on you with, because you know my feeling about the domestic abuse and all, and that's something that really needs to be have.
And those are the type of things that we can work on beyond, you know, notwithstanding our fiscal constraints. That shouldn't cost a lot of money.
What about some more schools?
Oh,
schools. I've only seen that one, that Doug Peters, not Senator Doug Peters. He really worked hard to get that school. We need more.
And we just opened the cut the ribbon on the firehouse he worked so hard on.
Yeah, you did that today? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I think the senator brought a lot of needed infrastructure
He was
projects.
the first one who gave me my first $1. No, Audrey Scott. Audrey Scott was the one who gave me $500, but Doug gave me $2,500.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I have the picture.
You had the pic, and Diane went with me, and I thought I had $1 million in my hand after working just with my own pocket. I love
really,
him.
From each level that he's worked at, has shown an innate ability to get things done.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah, Leo stepped down, and Doug got the job.
and we miss Leo. We all love him.
I miss Leo. I miss seeing him around. I really do.
But in terms of Doug, he has at every level gone to the mat to protect the interests of the city, and continues to do that when you ask about schools.
Yep.
He's a really good guy.
So well, you know, we were knocked back. We were on the A list, so that we were supposed to be the next school, and then we got knocked back to a C. So we just have to keep fighting and being proactive and try to get right back to that A again, so we can get a new high school.
And we're continuing to you know, increase the way that it's viewed in terms of an A, B, or C, and that's at the state. You know, we're really stuck right now between the state and the county. It's the last barrier. I think we all recognize in Bowie we've been unable to cross for our citizens.
Well, one thing I guess probably about a dozen young girls contacted me who are pregnant with babies. How is it possible to open a facility just here in Bowie? Maybe we can come out of tax money, but to have a facility where you can take your child from 8 to 5 and not pay $125 a week.
Well, that's the YMCA, actually.
But they're always full. They're crowded as holy hell.
Well, I know they're crowded,
and these kids can't get in, but they're children. So they can't go to school. They can't even take a part-time job. There's no one to watch the babies.
That's a dilemma that I'm at least confident that we're going to have to look at our county, our state, and a lot of our not-for-profit. We have a great network in this city, an interfaith network and a great network.
That's what we need.
That's what I was going to bring up.
In terms of something that we should look at. We have a wonderful pregnancy crisis center here. We have a Gabriel network that works with the women to help them be able to feel confident that they'll be able to raise their children, and we'll try to tap into that to see what the next horizon is after the baby's born.
The county also does give chits or vouchers for daycare, yes, but you know, you have to qualify. You have to go down and you have to qualify.
Through welfare?
Yeah, but you may not qualify for the welfare, but you may qualify for the daycare. The problem is that where they have the daycare centers is not necessarily in your community, and so people have to leave their communities to take their children elsewhere. So, you know, if you want to stay in your community, and then you have all the unlicensed daycare facilities that are charging every bit as much as a licensed facility.
Like $80 a day, some of them.
Oh, no, that's cheap.
That $80 a day is cheap?
I think the discussion we're having is, you know, whatever spectrum you're on, you know, young and unmarried and trying to survive, or married and trying to survive, the opportunities to be able to avail yourself of a good, quality, affordable daycare is not unique to Bowie. And you've been working with women on the national level, and it's something that we're going to have to evolve to. Some European countries have had some very good solutions, and we're going to have to evolve to that in the name of the family.
In Germany, they pay you $2,500 a year to stay home with your children.
Yeah, that's not enough of money.
But because they say that's what it costs a year to pay for daycare. In Germany, that's what it costs.
Oh, I mean, it's terrific.
And now women here pay $15,000 and $20,000 a year or more.
Exactly. And they have to work 2 or 3 jobs so they can just bring in enough money to pay the daycare and help with the, you know, things around the house.
But we are, we are a family. We've prided ourselves on being a community of families, and
so
that's
as
women,
we can, and we know. I'm so glad to hear you know about Gabriel and all that. But as women, we know
she did her homework.
We know where to lead the other women when they call and they say, "I'm having a problem."